Prompt 2. It says, please answer the following prompts using complete sentences, capital letters, and punctuation. So please go back and edit your writing. I don't want to take points off because you didn't edit it. Your prompts, there's a couple of questions you're looking at. What does it mean to do the right thing? That's the first thing that you're going to answer. And then why do you think some people choose to do the easy thing as opposed to doing the right thing? All right. So you're thinking of what does it mean first to do the right thing? And then you are saying, why do you think people sometimes choose like the easy way out instead of doing what is right? They maybe go with what is wrong because it's easier. You're going to be typing. I'm going to give you 7 minutes on my timer, and I need you to answer both questions and try to use detail in your writing, okay? I'm going to edit my timer and see what you can come up with in 7 minutes. Wait, I'm going to pause my timer and make sure everyone's there, I guess, before we go on. Because I don't want to say, oh, we're doing the timer and then no one's there yet. So give me a second. I'm sorry if some of you have started writing. Jaylee, I see you're there. Awesome. Mason, you're there. Remember, I'm going to close out of tabs if you're not where you're supposed to be. Mason.
I can't type in the box.
Click, double click.
I can't like erase the new one.
Then you're just going to have to, look, just for some reason, type here is just hit enter, okay? And it'll allow you to type underneath it. I don't know why Mrs. Ball made these slides, and so maybe she made that as a permanent thing. I don't know, but click right underneath it. Okay. But I see James and Jackson. This should be open on your screen. Kira, we're not there yet on the other one. You need to have this open. James and Jackson, let's go. Using this time to write, there's no reason why we don't get it turned in the next, 8 minutes when I'm giving us time right now to work on it. Now I'm restarting my timer. But you need to be writing right now. Remember, you're not turning it in before. If you just submitted it, unsubmit it, you're still writing. I have 3 minutes. Mason, you should still be writing. I have 3 minutes on my timer, friends. Actually, now 2. Again, you are not turning it in yet. Do not hit submit. My timer just went off, and I still see a lot of people who have not typed at all, who are still working.
I think that to do the right thing is to support people and try to understand their point of view, even if you disagree with them.
Understanding someone else's point of view, even if you don't agree with them. I would agree. That is what doing the right thing is. What also could doing the right thing mean? Olive.
I wrote that it was, I wrote that it was to stand up for someone and to admit when being wrong and treating people the way you would like to be treated.
I like it. Definitely. That last part is the golden rule, treating others how you would like to be treated. Good response. Mason, I saw you had your hand raised. Did you want to share anything? Sure.
If you see trash outside, pick it up. Don't leave it out.
Okay, so that is an example of what it means to do the right thing. So your response needs to be something like, to do the right thing means to treat others how you would want to be treated, as Olive said, to listen to other people's points of view, even if you don't agree with it, Mason says, for example, to pick things up outside, but I need you to clearly tell me, what do you think what it means to do the right thing? Charlotte, is there something you want to add to that?
Well, what I said is like helping others pretty much, like, because let's just say we're in class and you lost your pencil. Then somebody else who is trying helping you find that pencil, kind of,
Yep. So
like helping others, like helping cleaning up your mom's house, and like it can go faster for them to rest more, and doing something kind for them.
I like it. Adding that little bit about doing something kind or helpful for others, that is doing the right thing. So when people say, why do you think some people choose to do the easy thing as opposed to the right thing? So we can think of, even in some of our SEL videos, where maybe somebody does something that's mean, and then you just sit by and watch and you don't do anything, as opposed to doing the right thing, which would be standing up and saying something to that person who's being mean or rude to a classmate. Why do you think sometimes people choose to do the easy thing, Olive?
I think a lot of times it's the crowd they're with, or they don't care enough to do the right thing.
So not caring, the crowd you're with, maybe you're going to be embarrassed by standing up to somebody. Maybe you don't want your friends to get mad at you for standing up and doing the right thing. I agree. Charlotte, anything you want to add?
Also, if somebody in class is getting bullied, and you would want to help them and just say, and like to the bully, you would want to say, like, I don't know, like say, hey, that's not nice. You shouldn't bully other people. Because what my mom taught me, if you bully somebody else, that means you want them to be rude to you. But if you're nice to somebody, they're going to be nice to you.
Very good, Charlotte. William, what do you want to add?
I thought that maybe like if a little kid was doing it, it might be because like their big brother or big sister or parents do.
So they're influenced by what they see around them. I agree, William. Carter, what do you want to add?
The people don't care, like if they were mad at someone, they don't control their like emotions and they just let it out.
Yep, I agree. And Sophia, I see your hand up. What would you like to say? Sophia, did you want to add something? Okay. So if you have your answer typed out, you are happy with what you've written, we've talked about what it means to do the right thing. You need to have something along those lines. What does it mean to do the right thing? It means to do this. It means this to do the right thing. Something along those lines. And then you have to explain why people might choose to do the easy thing as opposed to the right thing. So please make sure you have all of that before you go back to your classwork and hit submit. We're going to move on. Make sure you have out your article for the chips. I'm going to get mine out. It's just right behind me. And we're going to open up that part 2 chips comprehension questions. We're going to go through part of the answers together, and I'm going to direct you to where you should read. Okay. Ooh, definitely going to start off with number 6 so that we can discuss what it means. Number 6. There's a word in there that might really trip you up on the first question. So I see Carter has this open. Great. So does Jaylee and Kira. Hank's got it open. Mason and Liam have it open. William has it open. Sophia's got it open. I'm going to give you another moment to get this open in front of you. Owen, what's up?
Are we reading article or no?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, bud?
Are we reading article today or just?
We are going to be reading parts of the article, kind of like we did yesterday.
The article today, or are we just answering questions?
We do need the article out. We're not going to group read it. We're only.
My books changed. My things changed.
Your what? I'm sorry, what, Owen?
Okay. I just said okay.
Oh, okay.
I just said
Right,
okay.
sorry.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's just there was a little bit of a lag and I couldn't hear everything you said. Okay, so all right, most of us have this open. And I see a lot of us are looking at our Scholastic, which is great. So let's look at number 6 to see what the question is asking. So we start off with number 6 because, like I said, the story, I broke up the questions into 2 days. That way we're not looking at all of the slides at once. We're just looking at part of them. So number 6 says, serendipity. Everybody say serendipity. Serendipity means discovering or inventing something without meaning to. Serendipity means discovering or inventing something without meaning to. How is the story of George Crumb's invention of potato chips an example of serendipity? So if we go back to our article, yesterday we read the first article, which was, are these chips too delicious? Today what we're doing is looking at the second article, Love at First Crunch, and we're talking about George Crumb. So let's just quickly read back the first section of this story so we can kind of really, I know you probably have on the tip of your tongue what the answer is, but we want to make sure that we have all of the text evidence that we can in our answer. So Love at First Crunch, meet the man behind one of our favorite snacks. The story goes something like this. In the summer of 1853, a chef named George Crumb was cooking up French fries at a restaurant in Saratoga Springs, New York. A customer sent his fries back to the kitchen, complaining that they were too thick and soggy. Crumb decided to teach this picky customer a lesson. So he sliced up potatoes as thin as he could and fried them to a hard brown crisp. he was sure that they would be inedible. But something surprising happened. The customer didn't turn up his nose at these crunchy fried potatoes. In fact, he gobbled up the delicious new treat. Other diners began to ask for them too. Soon, the restaurant was known for his famous Saratoga chips. And you can actually go to a restaurant. Some restaurants still have on their menu things called Saratoga chips, and they look like brown potato chips. I actually just had them not too long ago. History experts aren't sure whether this tale is 100% true, or even that Crumb was the first person to invent potato chips. But he definitely helped make them popular in the US. And more than 150 years later, potato chips are still one of America's favorite snacks. So if we go back to the original question, serendipity means discovering or inventing things without meaning to. How is the story of George Crumb's invention of potato chips an example of serendipity? What would you say? So let's first, I'm going to start our sentence starter off, and then you fill in the answer, okay? So George Crumb's invention of potato chips. I'm literally taking this exactly from the question. George Crumb's invention of potato chips is an example of serendipity. You need to have serendipity in your answer. George Crumb's invention of potato chips is an example of serendipity because why? Somebody help me fill that in. Why is that an example of serendipity? What do you think, William?
I think it's an example of serendipity because he tried to make something inedible, but then he made something great.
Yes, because he tried to make potatoes inedible. I like that you use that vocabulary word, William, because he tried to make potatoes inedible for a customer, and they ended up loving them. So he's invented the potato chip without meaning to. You need to have some kind of answer along that line. I love that William included the word inedible in his response. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I wasn't sharing my screen. I still had it on the newspaper. Thank you, Taya. All right, so again, George Crumb's invention of potato chips is an example of serendipity because he tried to make potatoes inedible for a customer and they ended up loving them. You need to have George Crumb. We're not saying his invention. If I were to take away the question and it just said his, I wouldn't know who you're talking about. You have to have George Crumb, you have to have the word serendipity, and I really like William's use of inedible. Give me a thumbs up when you are ready to move on from question 6. Thank you. Olive and Hank and Owen and Kira. Scotty says need more time. Great. Eliza, thank you. William, thanks. Thanks, Liam. Just another, minute, just so that my friends who aren't done have time to get this written. But I do want you to look at the next question so that we are ready to move on to maybe the next part. I'm going to go ahead and read what the next question says. This will still be up just for another moment or so. And then when we get back to answer 7, you'll be able to still see 6. Okay. So what details in crunch craving help you understand why crunchy potato chips are a popular snack? So we are looking at the section that says crunch craving, and we are looking for why people like crunchy potato chips. Okie doke. So now that we have an understanding of what the question is asking, we are going to look for those details that are shared by our author. Alrighty, so I'm on crunch craving in the center of the text saying love at first crunch. Crunch craving. It is not surprising that Crumb's creation became such a hit. Research shows that humans naturally crave noisy, crunchy foods. Why? Some scientists think it's because crunchy foods tend to be fresh. Think of the satisfying snap you hear when you bite into a stalk of celery or a crisp apple. The crunchiness of fruits and vegetables helped tell our early human ancestors that these foods were fresh and healthy. And even though potato chips aren't very nutritious, they still appeal to our brain's built-in love of crunch. Today, food companies research and experiment to create the perfect crunchiness. They figured out exactly how much tooth pressure it should take to crush a chip. They've calculated how loud the sound is. It can reach 63 decibels, as loud as a washing machine. They've designed the bag to keep chips crispy for as long as possible. So that's kind of where they kind of wrap up the text after that. But I do want to highlight some things. So if I go back to the start of crunch craving, because we think that crunchy foods tend to be fresh. I'm going to underline that. Crunchy foods tend to be fresh. I'm also going to go to research tooth pressure. They look at tooth pressure, how much like crushing a chip, like how much it takes to actually crush a chip with your teeth, how loud the sound is, which is 63 decibels, as loud as a washing machine. That's pretty interesting. And the chip bag is designed to keep them crispy for as long as possible. All of those things help us understand why crunchy potato chips are a popular snack, because we want crunchy because we think of them as fresh. All right, something along those lines. So if I go back to my questions on number 7, it says the details in the section crunch craving that, oops, sorry, I was admitting someone. The details in the section crunch craving that help me understand why crunchy chips are popular are that scientists research the sound of crunching chips, bags to keep them fresh, and how much tooth pressure it takes to crush a chip. Those kind of help me understand why that they are popular, and what they're doing. Those are the details in crunch craving. The details in the section crunch craving that help me understand why crunchy chips are popular are that scientists research, I'm going to add how research how much we like fresh chips through the sound of crunching chips, bags to keep them fresh, and how much tooth pressure it takes to crush a chip. Your answer doesn't have to be exactly my answer. You're more than welcome to think other details in that section help you to understand. It is definitely up to you, but that's what Mrs. Pierce found as some details in the text that helped me to understand basically how fresh a chip is. So I'll reread that just one more time. The details in the section crunch craving that help me understand why crunchy chips are popular are that scientists research how much we like fresh chips through the sound of crunchy chips, bags to keep them fresh, and how much tooth pressure it takes to crush a chip. If you just have one of those examples, I'm fine with that. I know that that's slightly a longer answer, so I'm definitely going to give you some time to type out your answer. It's 9:31. I'll give us until, let's say, 9:33. And then I'm going to go over the last question that you will be doing on your own and to kind of guide you with what I'm looking for.
Wait, we're doing number 8.
We will. I'm going to go over it in a moment. I'm giving some friends some time to type out their question for number 7.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just going to go over really quickly what the question number 8 says, and then I'll scroll back to that one so you can work on it in a little bit, okay? I am going to post the video, so if you need to pause it and look at my answers, you can. As soon as I get done with our meeting, I will get it downloaded and I will put it up in Google Classroom. All right, so critical thinking question. So as of now, you've read both articles. You've answered questions about both articles. Yesterday, you did part 1. Today, you did part 2. And you are going to answer the following critical thinking question, thinking about the meaning of both articles. It says both articles explain the great amount of research and testing that goes into creating tasty, irresistible snacks. Do you think it is a good thing or a bad thing or some of each? So your answer needs to be something along the lines of, I think it is a good thing that there is so much research that goes into creating snacks for us. Or I think it's a bad thing that so much research, testing, and flavor goes into creating snacks for us. Or I think it can be both. But you need to have an opinion sentence, and then I need you to support your answer using some text evidence. So you're going to say it's good, it's bad, it's either, and you could cite that people love these snacks, according to the article. A bad thing might be that we eat too much of it, and there's been a rise of obesity in the country, meaning obesity is remember, if you are clinically overweight by a certain amount, or that it's some of each. So definitely I need some detailed answers. The reason why I'm giving the last one on your own, you have a lot of space to write. I want an answer that is well thought out. I don't want just yes or no, or I think it's a good thing and then hit submit. I need you to explain your thinking on this last question, okay? The other 2 questions are worth 3 points. This one is worth 4 points on the back. So I am looking for really well thought out answers, things that you could support for this answer found in the text, and it's your own opinion. Okay, do I have any questions about what you're doing for the rest of this assignment? Don't go yet. I do want to explain. Remember, you have gym. I will probably send out an announcement. using our Go Guardian at 10:45 for you to remember to go. My math friends, Simple Solutions 58. Zern during this time, catching up on unfinished work during this time, reading during this time, iReady. If you are totally done with everything, you definitely haven't read your 20 minutes for the day. You could be doing that. I know I didn't assign a reading log this week, but I am going to be returning to that in a couple of weeks. So please keep up on your reading. Okay. And actually I need Olive, William, and Liam to stay on Zoom just for 5 minutes so I can explain something. But everybody else, I will have the video posted to Google Classroom. So as soon as our meeting is over, okay?